Hey everyone, my name's Walter and I'm back here with more old internet stories. I know some people are actually waiting for more of these, so let's get started again with classic Something Awful. All the children are insane. So in 2003, one of the Something Awful admins, Frolixo, released a satirical article. I'm not here to read the whole thing, but let's read the first paragraph, and keep in mind if you'd find this serious enough to write an angry email complaining about it. Something happened to me a while back that really got me thinking. I was mowing the lawn in the afternoon, like I do every day, and I spied a couple of young punks cut across the corner of my lawn with their bikes. Like any God-fearing, lawn-worshipping American, I yelled out, "You kids get off my lawn or I'll burn your goddamn treehouse down." Then the strangest thing happened. They stopped their bikes, turned around to face me, and gave me the finger. Needless to say, I was shocked by such rude behavior, and caught off guard by the total lack of fear displayed by these delinquent 10-year-olds. Way back when I was a kid, the 80s, we respected our elders. Sass was met with a swift belt to the buttocks, instilling a moral fiber and righteous sensibilities. I think what I witnessed on my lawn was the attitude of the new generation. Let's call them the Children of the Corn generation, or COC kids. It's quite obvious that something is wrong with the juveniles of America today, and frankly, I'm quite alarmed. Statistics show that school shootings, drugs, obesity, and corporate pop music is on the rise, with no end in sight. How did this happen? How did we get so far? What caused the children of America to turn into obese crackhead murderers with bad spelling? A woman named Sonia took this article very seriously and emailed Frolixo, where the whole exchange would be immortalized in the pranks section, under "Complaint, you're a fucking jackshit stupid asshole." She started out sounding pretty reasonable, but it quickly devolved into everyone wondering how she took the article seriously at all. Dear Reed, I recently read your All the Children Are Insane article, and I must say that I strongly disagree with you. Just because some teenagers on your street gave you the middle finger, that doesn't mean that all children in America are like that. And being a teenager myself, I have to agree with you that the world that teenagers live in today, and the world that you lived in when you were our age, are extremely different. And you do have the right to be surprised at how kids act nowadays, but just because things aren't the way you know them to be, that doesn't mean you should go making all these programs to help kids. The one thing that most parents, or elders, don't realize is that these programs are not going to work. So many people have tried the same way that you have, and needless to say, none of them have worked, or have made a minimal impact. Now just listen to this second paragraph. And please excuse me for my language right now, but your article enraged me so much that I just can't sit here being all polite. How the fuck can you say that the children of America are filthy dogs when you injected heroin into the class pet, and spiked their apple juice with LSD? Are you fucking insane? What were you thinking? Do you want these kids to die? And it's people like you who need the help, who yell and swear at 10-year-olds just because they ran over your lawn. I understand that you might worship your lawn, or whatever you do, but just because they ran over your lawn with a couple of bikes, that doesn't give you the right to swear at them and threaten to burn their treehouse down. And what qualifications do you have that make you think you can teach these kids about drugs? Have you ever been addicted to drugs, had to go to rehab for them, and now are telling kids not to do drugs because they almost killed you? I am skipping around some because it's probably not necessary to read the whole thing. People like you who try to brainwash these kids are just making matters so much worse than you claim they already are. Okay, if you truly want kids to not do drugs and go killing people, how do you suppose putting trackers and blow-up head options are going to help? Seriously, think about it. You're a fucking jackshit stupid asshole who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And about your stupid little video games. Look on the news. Every single day somebody is killed and another 100 are injured. Kids who play video games like the ones you mentioned already know this, so it doesn't do fucking shit if you make these new games. And as you saw for yourself, your stupid idea failed. And Reed, why don't you think about it? What you've done isn't going to help one single child in America. And I'm pretty sure that not only have you not made a positive impact, you've made a deep and horrible scar on every single child that has read your article or has come across you. Frolixo was basically astounded that someone who believes his article on a comedy website was 100% serious is able to write so articulately. Which is understandable. He's playing an angry old man who threatens kids when they ride bikes near his house, trying to sound as much like a stereotype as possible. So he decided to lay it on even thicker in his response. It's sassy teenagers like you that are causing all the problems in the world today. I found your letter to be rambling and quite uncouth. I know all about kids and have personally talked to a few when they wander on my lawn. I usually try to capture the children in a large net so they can be punished for their crimes. How else will they learn about respecting people's properties if they are not shown by whipping their backs with a hot coil? The parents won't do anything. They're too busy watching their exercise tapes and having sex with robots. You are a fool. It's clear that the only way we can return the school system to normal is to clean out the filthy children that think apart from the pack. The kids who wear black and worship Satan. The Jews, the artists, the black children who listen to jungle music. All of them. Our children must be taught the right things when they are growing up, or they'll grow up to be cowboys, or worse, a comedy site webmaster. In closing, go take a novice reading course, you dumb floozy. P.S. Pics, please. Yeah, in case this wasn't crazy enough, he even mentions being a comedy site webmaster, basically hitting her in the face with the fact that she's responding angrily and clutching her pearls over a satirical article. It's not even that well written of an article by today's standards. Maybe, instead of beating and using violence to teach these kids a lesson, you could actually try to talk to them in a humanly manner, and try to be on their side for once, and maybe they might be nice to you and listen. Of course no one's going to listen to you if you beat them. That's just saying to them, here, I'm going to beat you because you're bad, and now you're going to hate me because I'm hurting you, and now you aren't going to listen to me. That's common sense, buddy. And how do you know everything about kids when you don't have kids of your own? And like you said, the world that we live in today is extremely different to the one you lived in as a teenager. And how can you say you know everything about us just because you've talked to a couple kids on your lawn, when all you've really done is yell at them, swear, and threaten them? And when you said I usually try to capture the children in a large net so they can be punished for their crimes, what crimes are you talking about? The fact that they are alive? And then you ask, how else will they learn about respecting other people's properties if they are not shown by whipping their backs with a hot coil? They aren't going to respect you or your property if you beat them. Trust me, they'll just do worse things to you. Trust me on this, I know. I'm a teenager. And I can tell you right now that the parents aren't just sitting there. They're working their asses off to support their children. And what, may I ask, do you do as a job? Beat children just because they walked on your lawn? Yeah, he told you he's a comedy site webmaster. My god. Not that I think that was a paying position at the time. Almost certainly not. But I like how he said he grew up in the 80s. That would kind of make you old now, but this article's from over 20 years ago. And no, I don't think it's clear that isolating children will help the school system. And I could tell you a way to help these children. And it's a much easier way. And look, it doesn't cost as much money as building a new school and getting new teachers. Wow, amazing, isn't it? It's called helping them. If you actually read my first email, you would have known this. But no, I'm sorry. Some of us are just too stupid and lazy and are too busy beating little kids to read something like that. And I also could tell you that even though kids might dress or act like they worship Satan, they really don't. And the artists are the ones that we should protect, because without them, our world would be nothing. How would you like it if our world didn't have any pictures, paintings, music, or anything else that decorates our world? And yes, I do know that my first email was very disrespectful, and I am inclined to say that I am sorry, but I just can't bring myself to do it because of the way you are treating other people. I don't believe that I should be nice to you if you aren't nice to other people, and me too. The same applies to your little plans of capturing little kids and torturing them, which I may add is illegal. It's the golden rule. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. That is the rule that you obviously didn't learn when you were young. And you still haven't answered almost any of the questions that I asked you in my first email. I would appreciate it greatly if you did. My ass, I'm going to send you a picture of myself. If you send me a picture of yourself, I'll think about sending you a picture of myself. Have a nice day, Sonia. Okay, now Frolixo was even more surprised that she hadn't figured out she's being trolled yet. How naive can one person be? But a large percentage of the population didn't even know what trolling was in 2003, so let's see what happens here. I must admit that I just skimmed your last couple emails, because they had a lot of words in them, and I am a busy man. Please try to stay on topic instead of rambling on about your Barbie collection or whatever you were talking about. This is serious. I have been entrusted by the state of Michigan to help the children in need, and by Jove, I'm not going to let a meddling kid such as yourself muck up the whole affair. You say that I'm committing crimes by catching children in nets and teaching them lessons with hot coils? I think you are the one that needs a dose of medicine. These filthy, stupid, smelly beasts of children that dare defile my perfect lawn with their bikes is just one example of problems with kids these days. I came up with a new program that would cure these horrible tots. A re-education camp called Frolixo's Fun Farm. A place where punishment is key, talking is forbidden, and armed guards make sure no child leaves the program early. Children who refuse to obey will be taught manners with underwater boxes full of rats. as well as being hung upside down with no food or clothes. Those who fail the program will be turned into a high-energy fuel alternative to feed America's growing SUV population. I have not received funding for it yet, but things are progressing well. There, I have answered all your questions, you foul-mouthed sassy child. I have attached my picture, so I will be waiting for yours. Frelixo. And then he sends this picture of, himself, I'm sure. Well, this prank should be over. My plan of turning children into fuel for SUVs, combined with my picture, should tip her off that I'm not serious in the least. I prayed to God that she didn't respond, just to keep my small hope for the human race intact. It was not to be. Sonia then asked him again what he did for a living. Are you a junior reporter or something? What is this, 60 Minutes? If you must know, I own an ice cream truck and sell various cold snacks to grubby children. That's how I got to know kids, because I have to deal with them every day. I saw firsthand the utter contempt these children had for my authority, waving a fistful of sticky pennies at me, with a total disregard for their appearance. Most of the time I would speed through the neighborhoods and watch the streaming flocks of children chase my truck to no avail. Then I would stop the truck so they could catch up with me and then speed off again. The daily futile chase combined with their little sobs of disappointment invigorates me to no end. I was really doing them a favor, as the chubby bratlings could stand to lose a few pounds. Anyway, I sent you my picture, so why don't you send me yours? It's only fair. Frelixo. This evil ice cream man thing is why I remember this article 20 years later, honestly. Surely she couldn't still think she's talking to a real person. She probably should have been on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I have news for you. Life isn't fair. I said that I would consider sending you my picture. And no, I am not a junior reporter. I am just concerned for these poor little children who you plan to torture. And what do you care if these children are fat? You have no right to care for them. They aren't your children. And by the way, I never said anything about Barbies. If you read my email, and actually could read if you had an education and could spell right and used correct grammar, maybe you would have known that. I don't even have much to say at this point. It feels like I'm just stealing content, but yeah, this article's really old, and if anything, this should get it slightly more traffic. Don't you take that tone with me, little missy. I've fought in Nam and deserve respect. You brat, you think you know everything because you read book? You shut up. Children are dogs and will be treated as such. I apologize for yelling. You pushed my buttons claiming I have no education. I made it to 9th grade before I went off to fight the war, and even studied my books while Zips threw frag grenades at my bunker. You think it's easy being an ice cream man that is in charge of the children of the future? Not so fast, my little pony. It's a hard job and needs discipline. You say I torture children? Not so. Children torture themselves by their actions and misbehavior. I am just fixing their thought process by putting them in apple crates filled with spiders and rolling them down hills. Do you have a better idea? Do you think you can fill my shoes, teaching the kids of tomorrow how to survive in the fast-paced world of today? I think not. Dr. Frelixo, MD. Now he's not only a doctor suddenly, but also took part in a war that happened before he was born. Come on, how much bullshit is one person going to respond to? Alright, this is almost over. We're actually finishing in one video today, which I know people prefer. Actually, yes. I think I could do a better job than you ever could. And I know I don't know everything, just because I read books. You were a child once. Why don't you deserve to be treated as a dog? And how do you suppose stuffing them into little tiny crates with spiders is going to help their thought process? And please, don't call me your little pony. Yeah, My Little Pony was a lot more gender-coded before Gen 4 came out. I guess it also fits with growing up in the 80s. Anyway, this is the final email, the one she finally didn't respond to. Let's check it out. Listen here, strawberry shortcake. I work my fingers to the bone dispensing justice to these ignorant snotlings, and I'm tired of hearing a sassy girl like yourself pretending you know all about my problems. I am so dedicated to solving this children issue that it caused my wife to leave me and take the car while I was napping with some young boys that stepped on my lawn. Don't pretend to know my troubles. Only when the flesh of the child is peeled back in the fires of redemption shall this earth be clean of its filth. Wombs are spilling forth their poison contents, blackening the very ground it defiles. The day of reckoning is nigh, for I am the Black Knight that will lead the charge against the hordes of the unclean. Hear my words and flee before them, for my plan is in action. The keys of power are mine. The children of America will part before me like the Red Sea, and only then will they know to obey my word as law or face their damnation. Detective Frolixo, Steve Gonzalez. P.S. Sending my pic again, so hopefully you will send yours. Yeah, I guess that was finally enough for her to stop responding to a comedy writer. He wasn't even subtle about it either. Kinda surprised she said so many words without calling out his racism. I'm not saying anything about it because I know this isn't real, but yeah. My mad plot is revealed at last, frightening her enough not to send a response. I would like to think that she finally got that this whole thing is a joke and that Something Awful is not a site that prevents serious solutions to solving the world's problems. But in my heart, I know that she'll never get it. I weep for the future. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Sonia is confused about this exchange to this day. I was a teenager when this happened, too. And I'll be 38 next month, so she's probably somewhere around that age. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, make sure you let me hear it in the comments. No idea if anyone will watch or like this content, but let's hope. There is a lot more I could potentially cover. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of the same and Reddit and lolcow content. Finally, big thanks to my awesome patrons who help by supporting me more directly over on Patreon. I'll shout them out next video, probably. Which I'm not sure what my next video is going to be at the moment, but I'm working to take my mind off things currently, so I should be back soon. Have a great day, everyone, and stay off my lawn or I'll burn down your goddamn treehouse.